and welcome back to another video. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I am predominantly an animal drawer and a nature drawer. I tend to do more things like that, more animals and whatnot, and so I thought let's explore something a bit different. So this is going to be part of the sketchbook kind of videos that I've been doing, the A4 sketchbook, and I've done quite a lot in here, and I did explore off camera just doing a little quick sketch like this, and I think I'd like to do more of this. I want to get more into doing people and things like that. So I thought I've got a blank page here, I'm working on something on here, that might be a different video at a later date, but I'm working on I'm thinking of doing it on this side. Now I went on Pexels, so that's pexels.com I believe, or .co.uk, and I found a load of references. I realised that there's only one man on here, but anyway, that's how it has happened. I kind of went through and I found some really unique and beautiful and multicultural photos, and I really wanted to kind of practice different features, because obviously different countries have more predominant features than others, and I wanted to explore that, not just stick to say a specific type of feature and size and nature of it all, and I wanted to explore a little bit whilst I'm also practicing sketching. Now when I do my nature drawings, so take this wren for example, I actually posted a reel up recently of this, so go and check that out at LucyLocksArt on Instagram. So when I sketch this, I don't use the grid method that I use for my pet portraits that you see me doing. I actually just sketch this out from the reference, and the way I do that is I almost use my peripheral vision. So I look at the whole bird with my eyes, obviously, and I will use my peripheral vision to check out and kind of monitor the edges of the bird. So say take the tip of the beak and the tip of the tail, and I will use my peripheral vision to look at both of those. So when I'm sketching this wing out, I know that this is approximately this distance away from the tip of the tail, and as I come up at a certain angle, I know that where I need to stop, that and that is a certain distance, and that's how I sketch it out. And that's how I've kind of I'm trying to break down how I'm thinking about it when I'm sketching, and that's how I think I do it anyway. So I want to kind of apply that to faces, because I tend to have an idea of how to sketch a face in my head, and then I kind of just sketch what I think it should look like. So I know what an eye looks like, and I try and sketch how I think it would look like instead of looking at the reference, and that is what I want to hone in on today in this video. Now I have 8 reference photos here. I might not do all of them, I might do 2 or 3. I don't want to do them too small, but I also don't want to do them too big, but we'll pick out a couple of these and we'll sketch them, and I'll try and hone in on that and try not to draw from how I think it should look, because that is the trap I fall into when I draw faces, and I'm not sure why. I don't know, it's because I look at faces every day and that's just how my brain is trying to break it down when I'm sketching, but that's not what I want to do. So this is going to be a bit of a sketching and a learning with me process. There's probably going to be some talking over it. I don't want this video to just be time-lapse like some of my other videos, and so if you want to sketch along with me, I will put the references that I'm working on at the time of me sketching them up in this corner or one of the corners, and we can sketch together. It'll be predominantly real time, so with a bit of time-lapse mixed in here and there. So I think let's get cracking and let's do a little bit of reference photos sketching basically. Alright, so I think I'm going to start off in this top corner here, and I think we are going to do this beautiful lady with the afro. I really like this picture and I'm drawn the most to it out of all of those pictures, so we're going to do that. So I think how I'm going to work this, and I'm going to probably do it about this size, so we might fit 3 or 4 on, I don't know, we'll see how we're getting where we're getting to, but I think I'm going to start with kind of just drawing the construction lines of the face. I'm not going to get bogged down too much, and so for this I'm going to use this kind of thick barreled mechanical pencil, which I actually got off eBay a long time ago, so I don't know where and what the listing was, and it does not have a brand. But I really like sketching with it, and I've just got a little bit of putty eraser. I believe this is a Faber-Castell putty eraser, so that's what we're going to use for this. So in terms of the construction lines, we've got kind of a forehead, and it's curving around this way. Then we have the nose, which is coming down here. We've got the tip of the nose here, and then the bottom of the nostrils kind of just below. We're looking, the direction we're looking at is looking up here. We also then have the top of the lip line, which is kind of coming here. We've got the peak of the lip there. I would say that is the distance we are looking at. And then we have the lips coming down. We've got the bottom of the lip here, a slight open mouth, and then the bottom lip here. So I'm already falling, I can already feel myself falling into the trap of this is what a lip looks like. So I'm trying to break this down into shapes. So bottom of the lip, then we have kind of that crease bit before your chin hits, and then we have the chin here. So in all, we've got a direction coming kind of approximately like this. That's the curve of the face. And then the face comes up, and we've got the lovely hair coming round. I've already drawn this way bigger than I thought I would draw it, and I've already not left enough room for the hair. I wasn't necessarily going to draw all the hair. Decisions. Maybe I'll just stick with the face. We'll stick with this size. If we only do two, we only do two. But anyway, so I think I'm going to just lightly rub out those construction lines, and I think I'm actually going to start with the nose. I think that's going to determine the rest of the piece. So this is where we have the nose, and that's the crease. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to break this down. So we've got the bridge here, and I'm going to look at the shapes of the nostrils. So we've got kind of it coming down here, the nostril there. This bit is coming up. Now I can see there's a distance here approximately of that, and then it gets a little bit pinched here because there is a nose ring on it, and then it comes up. So then let's try and do the other side. Now if you look at the distance between the nostrils here, this nostril comes in a little bit like that, and then curves round and then back up like that. And now the distance and the leveling of that should line up, which it just about does. This actually I think I'm going to bring down a little bit more, and then again the other side here comes up like that. And then I don't want to do define lines, we'll do some shading to picture this, but we've got kind of the tip of the nose comes down like this and around, and then that comes up there like that. And then if we follow this up, that comes up like that, and then this, you kind of, there's a distance between here and then a light bit. So I'm not just breaking it up into shapes, but I'm breaking it up into light as well. There's lights hitting it, causing a very white line of light here, and then there's a line of light kind of circling around the tip of the nose here as well. So I'm trying to break it up into that to look at the distance between this curve here and then that line of light that's coming up here, and the shape of that light. So you've got to think this curve here has a certain distance between that arch and that arch, and that's how I break up my pet drawings, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to break it up into those little bits, and it's just something you develop, and it's something that you need to incorporate. So when you are practicing your sketching and you're thinking, I can't sketch this, you just need to practice. You just need to break things down a little bit more. It's not a case of you look at it and you know that a nose looks like this, because everyone's noses are different, everyone's features are very different. Even if you apply this to animals, say, every animal is very different, and you've got to break them down differently. It's not a case of this is what it looks like. but don't get me wrong, if you are drawing, I don't know, if you're cartoonifying or stylizing a real life creature or person, sometimes you do stick to a nose shape that is very flat and very generic for all of your creations of that subject, but equally I think you'd still break that down. I don't know, it's not my style, I don't know how that would work, but that's how I think you'd still need to break it down. You'd still have to have a specific shape, otherwise it wouldn't depict that person or creature, because we are all different, we're all very unique, and that's the beauty, isn't it, in the world, is that everything is different, there's nothing the same and uniform, which is nice. So I'm just moving on to the lips. I see there's like an arch here. These lip arches, I can't remember the word for them, are very stark, they come up like that. Then we almost have like a second lip, it's like the inner lip, so this bit folds underneath into the mouth, perhaps. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So you kind of have this bit that's almost attached to that piece of skin under your lip, to the top of your teeth, and then we bring that down. Now the distance here is quite thick, so we come round like this and bring that down, and then you hit that curve. I always struggle with this curve of the mouth here. I always think when I draw things it looks very flat, so we're gonna try and bring that down, curve that in. Now that's very much darker, but like I say, we'll shade and whatnot at the end, and then that kind of comes back up to this, and like I say, we have almost that like inner lip here, almost. I'm actually just gonna take out the top arch there, just peek it, and then we're gonna actually bend it out a little bit more. I think it needs, and take out a bit of that darkness there. I don't think we need that. Like that. Then we have the gap in the mouth, which I've already put a construction line there for. So this kind of curves out, back in, and then because of the angle we have a curve here, which then blends into that corner of the mouth, then a curve here, and then it comes down. So we've mapped out the bottom of that lip, it comes down, but it's actually not as subtle of a bend there. You do have a bit more of a stark, so the distance between there and there is approximately that, so you break that down, and then you bring that bottom lip, thicken that too much, you bring that bottom lip down and then curve that round like that, and that curves a little bit more stark there, like that, and we almost have that inner outer lip area here. Yeah, I think that looks good. Teeth, just map those teeth in. It's kind of like this. Drawing teeth are weird. I never know whether it looks good drawing the actual teeth or whether you just draw it, do like a rough drawing of that. Okay, so that's that done. I think, see, if you look at the reference and you draw this down, there's like shadowing here, which this lip kind of comes into. Sometimes being a bit messy with your sketches can hinder you a little bit because you lose where you are, you lose your bits, but yeah, I think that's about right. Then we have that under section, and then we have a chin that comes round. Now I'm going to start drawing the edge of the face here, so I know the distance between there and the edge of the face. There's kind of a shadow coming down here like that, and then you come up, bring that down, come up like that. Now next to the nose here is the cheek, and there's about that much distance, and then that curves there, I believe. Yeah, just a curve there, sort of like that, but I think we have a slight indent along there. We've got the high cheekbone here, and then it curves for the eye socket and around. So if we go back up to this top eye, we have this here, and there's kind of almost like a deep shadow crease here, and then I don't know, there's like a triangle going from here to the edge of the corner of the eye. Sort of like this, but we've got a curve coming up there, and then that coming down there. You've got the corner, and then the corner of the eye here, and then across and down. So draw the eyeball and the iris in, straight light there. We've got the curve here, that's deep. We've got a little crease line here, and then you've got your dark part. You can't really see it in the reference photo, and then you've got your eyelid creases, so there's quite a lot of eyelid creases, and then that shadow really defines that eyelid, and it comes up quite high there. Then you've got a shadow coming down here, and that's where this side of the face starts to bend around, so we don't have such a stark curve here. So this comes in like this, then you already start to go out and bend round slightly like that. Now I think this angle here could do with slackening off, kind of like that. That's it. And then it goes up. See, I don't know whether this stark shadowing here needs to come over a little bit more, and this shadowing like that. And then we have the eyebrow again, because we're looking up from it. It's kind of trailing off the side there. Some nice thick brows like that, and then the corner of the face coming up to the forehead, and then a nice forehead coming back down like that. So that's that side of the face. So I think I'm gonna time lapse the rest of the face, time lapse the shadowing, and then we can take a deeper look into this face and see where we could improve. Now there is a hand that comes across here, but I think I'm going to try and crop that out a little bit because I don't want the hand, I'm trying to focus on the face. But yeah, let's time lapse this and see what else we get onto. But if you're sketching along with me, kind of break it up how I have been breaking it up, because it does help, it really helps. So let's time lapse and get on with this bit. Staring at this since I finished it for a long time. I even slept on it because I wanted to, there was something wrong with it, very, very wrong. Now as you can see, I've drawn some lines where I think it needs to change. So I was looking at the distances, and like I mentioned, I look at how far, say, the tip of this ear, the top of the ear is here in accordance to the eye, and this side of the face is actually okay. I think that's fine, and also I don't have much room to move it, so I think I'm going to leave that side. I think that's all in proportion, it's all fine. I looked at the distance between the top of the eye here and the eyebrow line, and the eyebrow line needs to move up. and then I looked at the rest of the face. Now there's actually a lot of foreshortening on this picture, more than I realised, and so I have definitely made the face a lot flatter. It needs to tilt backwards a little bit more. Now, the shape of the lips, the shape of the nose, all fine, but they need to move. As you can see, I've done a new tip of the nose here, the corner of the nose here, and the corner of the nose here, and then the lips need to also move right and upwards a little bit, just to create that appearance of the head being tilted back. And likewise with the face shape, this face shape definitely needs to widen. It's a little bit too thin, so I think we're going to really kind of do something radical here, and we're going to rub out the entire lips. Now there's going to be a lot of ghosting here from my last pencil lines because I really laid it on thick, because I was 100% sure, which I shouldn't have done, that this was it all in the right proportion whilst I was shading. So we need to bring all of this back. Another thing I recommend is getting a putty eraser. They are fabulous, they're really good, they pick up quite a lot, and really they're really forgiving for your work. So as you can see, that is the face a lot wider there. That chin line needs to move, just basically that entire face there needs to move. We also need to change this eyebrow line, so we're gonna do that. I think I've spent a lot of time on this, and I think I'm just gonna do this one portrait in this video. I think we don't need to be doing multiple portraits when we've got one to concentrate on. This one is fairly difficult to do, so I think we are going to just concentrate on this. There's no point pushing ourselves to do more when this one's already quite a lot of a challenge. So I think that's what we're going to do. Just this one, we're going to concentrate on it and continue this and finish this off together. So that's the eyebrow line there. We'll finish and tie in all the shading afterwards. So just bear in mind that there's a lot of shading missing when I'm finishing this. So that's where I think the eyebrow line needs to go. And then likewise, if we pull this face down a little bit, I'm actually just gonna widen that forehead a touch there. So bring that forehead down here, and then we've definitely just removed exactly what I just did. And then we are going to pull it in here, because that's your eye area, your eye line. Let's just make that a touch wider. That's your eye line there. We're going to curve that round, and there's the cheekbone. Curve that round, go in a little bit where your cheek groovy bit is, I don't know what you'd call that, and then scoop that round and tie it back in. So as you can see already, even with the old features, that face looks so much better. It looks way more proportionate. You can see that it's wide enough, and you can almost sense that this curves back round there, which is what we were trying to achieve before. So I'm actually already way happy with that eye. Now the nose bridge here is actually a lot wider than I first initially made it, so I can kind of sense that the eye, almost where that corner of the eye was before and the iris, it kind of needs to move over that distance, so that becomes the corner of the eye. And it's important, we may have to change this again, but it's important to try and get this eye shape right, because it's a weird one, because the eyes, we're at such an angle that the eyes are sloping down slightly, but I don't know if that will read right. We may have to alter it slightly, I don't know. But let's just get this eye in roughly like this, and then I think that groove there, that's a good distance, that's exactly I think how it should be. And then at the top of that eyelid there, the harsh shadowing there, bring that down, and then where that harsh shadowing is, we've got a certain amount of distance, and then we've got that eyebrow that comes down, sort of like that. I think that actually curves up a little bit more. Tell a lie, I think that goes up more like that, I would say. And this line actually needs to come a lot further down, and this eye needs to come a lot closer to the edge of the face there. Okay, so then that leads us on to the nose. So if we bring the nose is coming up quite a lot. I think the eye comes down, so that's the corner there. We've got the nostril out here, and then a little gap, and then we've got the other nostril here, and then the edge of that nose coming round like that. And it's going to look a lot closer because, like I mentioned, we've got that foreshortening happening on this face. So we've kind of got this happening where it almost, see, this is what I was talking about before. I was in my head, I know what a face looks like, so I put the nose this distance away. Even though I was looking at the distances, I was looking at the shapes, I was kind of drawing it straight on, when if you look at the reference, it's not. It's a very strange angle. I've probably chosen the worst photo to practice on camera, really. It's not doing me any favours. Not doing me any favours at all. But this is how you practice, isn't it? You do things that are a bit more difficult, a bit harder, a bit more challenging. So I'm okay with that. I think it's good practice. It's kind of hard to see because I've got this ghosting going on. Yeah, so that's the bottom of the nose there. Spin that around a little bit. Then we've got kind of a shadow going this way, the shadow leading into the lips there, and then that little groove there. Okay, and then we'll curve that lip round. Lips have to be my mega downfall. I really struggle with them. So we're going to actually put these lips at a bit more of an angle here, because we're also going at this angle. We're no longer at straight now, we're going at this angle. I also noticed, I think I drew this at an angle because I'm filming straight on. Usually I turn my book, and so I've naturally just drawn it at an angle rather than vertically like the reference photo. So do bear that in mind when you're looking at my work, because it's not it's not exactly how it should be angles wise. I've tilted the entire thing. So that's where we're going with the lip here, and then bring that curve back down. So that's your top lip. And then let's create that nice gap that she's got, like that, bottom. And then we have this lip coming down here. That comes around like that. Let's see. Pin that round. Okay, I think that's roughly right. And then we've got the chin coming down like this. Yeah, look at that angle, it's so much better. So much better. That nose also just completely changes it. Just changing the angle really helps. Really helps. Okay, I think we've got that right now. I think that looks better. There's a light section roughly here, the light's hitting there, we've got a shadow coming from the mouth there, you've got a little bit of light hitting here roughly, got very harsh lighting on the side of the face here, and then on the forehead here. Yeah, I like that. I think that's looking good. That's looking so much better. So much better. All right, so I'm going to time lapse the shadowing again, and then we will have a look and review at the end. I'm not being particularly precise with my shadowing. I'm not doing any cross hatching or anything like that. It's just scribbling on darkening areas and lightening, and then I use my putty eraser just to lift any areas where there should be some light hitting or something like that. So let's get that shadowed and then we will discuss at the end. So this is it with those changes and it all shadowed. I did change a few little bits, so I noticed that the lips were again still pointing up this way too much. They needed to curve round to curve with the face a little bit more. And the shadowing, I could spend hours just tweaking this shadowing just to try and get it to look right, but all in all, it is what it is, and that's how it's looking. I'm pleased with those changes we made. They are definitely much better. I will actually insert a picture now of the before I made the changes and this finished piece, because I did take a photo, and I think it's really important to see why I've done all those changes. The face definitely looks like it's pointing upwards. There's that foreshortening where it's coming towards you a little bit more, so you've got to change the angles and the shapes, and the shape of the face just makes it look way more curved, way more 3D. Now I think this isn't perfect, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is absolutely lifelike with the reference image, but I think we've come a long way since I started this video, and the what I thought was finished, it definitely needed those changes, and I think I've learned a lot from doing this. So I hope if you have been kind of doing this with me, you've also made changes, you've also learned a little bit. Just drop me a little comment down below if you have been doing this with me, or what you think I could improve on, because I'm always open to constructive criticism, because I think there's always something to learn with art. I'm constantly learning, constantly developing my skills, and just enjoying creating and learning. I think it's the only environment I really enjoy learning in. So I hope you've enjoyed this journey. One thing to note, actually, before I ended the video, I wanted to mention that in the reference photo there is a hand coming over the face, so that is creating an element of shadowing on that chin area. So just be aware if you are doing this, just to kind of almost look past that, because there's a shadow here where there's a finger pointing at the face, and that shouldn't be there. You need to kind of smooth that shadowing off a little bit. I don't know whether I've done that well enough, but that's how I see it anyway. But yes, so thank you very much for joining me on this. I know we only ended up doing one portrait, but I think it's more important to concentrate on the one than do a few shoddy versions of multiple portraits. So I hope you didn't mind that I just did the one and just played around with this and had a bit of fun. And this was a bit more of a talky video. Just let me know in the comments if you mind this, and whether you want me to do more draw with me type videos, and more videos showing me learning as well. I think it's important to show that it's not always creative flow straight from birth. You've got to learn these things and develop your skills. So thank you very much for watching and joining me on this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.